What's going on, guys? It's your boy Grant back here with another episode of the Groovy Files, and today I got my main man Jay Trent with me.
Yo,
And today we'll be talking about the 10-year anniversary of To Pimp a Butterfly. Now, Jay Trent, I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna say my answer. Where were you when this album dropped?
I was in 12th grade. Yeah, I was in 12th grade. I remember I was driving to school and I like put that on, and it was nothing like what I was expecting. That's going to be the way that I started for now, because like I had no clue what I was in for. I'll put it that way.
I think hearing I for the first time, like as a radio single, I kind of like, okay, this alright, this cool. But like hearing Wesley's theory for the first time and like listening to like the every nigga start part, I was like, okay, he finna come with some, he finna come with some shit. And then that nigga took George Clinton and Compton and funk and all these other elements and was like, you know what? I'm finna, because I feel like this. People talk about Wesley's theory as it's such a great intro, but I feel like they don't give Kendrick enough credit in regards to the rapping on there.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
how catchy. It's extremely catchy. Like he goes, when I get signed, homie, I'm at the fool, blah, 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 blah. And then like it just extremely catchy. The vocals, the all that. I fucking love that song. But
Yeah,
also,
nah, yeah,
I don't think
it's a great intro, bro. Like the funk like fusion with the hip hop and the way that he's rapping.
I don't care what nobody's
It's
yo, go ahead. I'm sorry.
nah, no, no, no. I was just gonna say like that's one of my favorite intros to any hip hop album.
Yeah, I have to. I don't think there's a intro besides Return of the Gangster. That counts. I guess that counts.
Yeah, I'm
Run the
counting
Gangster
it.
from
I'm
Equemini.
counting it.
Like I
Yeah,
feel like
Aquemini.
I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like if I had to put that first, I had to put West His Theory second, or I think I've had to put it a tie. But man, like so I think that dropped like senior year of high school for me, like spring semester, like 3 months away from graduating, and then I remember he dropped. I feel as great as, of course, as you get older, the album just sounds better. Like, of course, like that, you kind of dissect and you kind of get everything he's saying. As a teenager, not so much. But
Mm,
when I heard like, because I listened to All Right back then, and I was like, look, nigga, this might be the one of the hardest beats I have ever heard in my entire life.
hmm.
But listening to going back and like really like dissecting the lyrics that come with it, that nigga was snapping. But he made
Yeah.
it sounded like, man, this a radio like this kind of like a radio hit. But also that nigga rapping, that nigga said painkillers only put me in the twilight of the song. And then everybody was like, yeah, man, like this beat hard though. I was like, man, that nigga, look, man. And like people talk about the first part of you with Loving You is Complicated and like the God is Gangster video. That's one of my favorite. I think that's my favorite Kendrick music video ever. But uh the second part of that song, I feel like that is probably the apex for me when it comes to Kendrick Lamar at the peak of his powers.
Yeah, I
Talking about
think
the survivor
so.
guilt and everything like that.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say talk about um it's one of those albums that as I've gotten older, I've like been able to appreciate more of it. But when you talk about All Right was a song that I knew was a hit the first time I heard it.
Yes, I don't feel that way about when people say like I feel like when people talk about instant classics, I think instant classics 100% can exist. 100%. Like
Hmm.
I don't need X amount of years to say this is gonna be looked back on as one of the greatest bodies of work of all time. I felt that way about with Good Kid, Mad City. I kind of felt that way. I was kind of like, man, this is really fucking good. Like, and I think it took some time to kind of like for its impact to play out. But to Pimp a Butterfly, I was like, nobody else in this nigga class is doing this. Nobody.
Hmm.
Like he got, and this is one thing I say about Kendrick a lot. Um, when I say like legends love him, I'm not talking about like just rap. Like I remember somebody, I think Prince was supposed to be on Tip of a Butterfly, but he couldn't make
Yeah,
the session or
I
he was like
remember.
on tour or something.
Yeah, I
But
remember that.
the Isley, is it pronounced Isley or
Yeah,
Isley?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Ron Isley is on How Much a Dollar Cost.
Yeah, yeah. That the Isley brothers, they love this nigga. Like,
I mean, and you just mentioned George Clinton, like
yes,
Funkadelic.
like the legends, like beyond hip hop, are enamored with him, and they came together and said, you know what? I see what you're trying to do. I'm going to help you with that. But my big thing is that Kendrick, everybody was scared in his camp about what he was trying to do with this album because they were afraid that it was too far left field from Good Kid Mad City.
And you know what? I think you can argue that, but the fact that Good Kid, Mad City got so much love when it dropped, even with this being his like that. To Pimp a Butterfly was his second major label album. I feel like the first one being Good Kid, Mad City kind of earned him that cachet, where
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
could.
okay, we just gonna
He,
see what we gonna see what you like because the first album was so impactful on all fronts. They kind of they had to give him the benefit of the doubt.
like it's yeah, like when you drop a when before your debut album and people, all the legends coming out and say like, look, and this comes with this conversation with the Rory and Mal thing, and I kind of want to talk about that, but I put like this, and the black woman only the one that's having the most sense on the episode is so funny to me, but that's besides the point. Um,
I don't watch that shit, so I don't know what you're
there
talking
was
about.
no, there was a clip, that came around that she basically Rory and Mal were like, should rappers have to do more to deserve the cosigns they get from legends? And I was
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah, I think
and
I
I
know what
was
you're talking about.
and I was like, no, because if a legend comes out and co-signs somebody and says this person is the future, that's their decision.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't think we get to decide that. Like, like there's like
This was in
everybody's
reference to
talking.
Doechii and Lauryn
Yeah.
Hill.
Oh, I know what it's about. I realize what you're talking about. Yeah, but like we don't get to determine we don't get to determine what the legends rock with. Like that is purely their opinion, and like so you ain't gotta agree with every legend's opinion. It's like but if this person say they rock with you, then they rock with you. Like we don't. It's one of those things. It's just odd to me that people that we feel like we should have an input on that. That has nothing to do with us.
So, like that's that was the big conversation about that, and I was like, look, I ain't gonna say that legends haven't been wrong before, But at the same time, I'm kind of like, if somebody says somebody that is the future, usually from what I've seen or noticed, those people haven't been fully wrong.
I'll put it
It
like
just all
this.
depends. It's all
Yeah,
depends.
I don't think opinions can be wrong. So, I mean, if a legend says that X artist is the future, whether I agree with them or not, I mean, that's their opinion. Like they have a right to feel that way.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to agree, but it's just funny. It's just funny to me that um that 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 was such a dominant conversation because it's one of like
You
it
know
is
what they
complete.
doing, man.
I know what it is.
You
I
know
know
what
what
they
it is.
doing, bro.
I know what it is, and I don't care about it. But what I'm saying is like our thoughts on these things don't matter. So it's like it just feels like people overvalue their own opinions in terms of importance in the grand scheme of things. Like what you think about this thing does not matter.
Like they
Like
okay.
and
So
it's like
so what if somebody
and
thinks Dochi isn't the future or is the future and that a legend co-signed her? Because at the end of the day, it still got to play out.
yeah, it's just like whether you agree or not, like you don't have to. I
But
don't even know. I don't even have an opinion on that really. So like if you it's just like you can say whatever feels valid to you. But we're like how are we arguing over somebody's opinion about that? It's just like you could just say I agree or disagree and that can be that.
yeah, like yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. But on one thing I want to talk about, like To Pimp a Butterfly, is that the the unsung hero of the album to me is Soundwave. Because I
Okay.
think I,
I didn't know I didn't know which producer, musician, who you were gonna put there. I don't think
obviously
any of
like
them. I don't think any of them would have been wrong. But Soundwave is a good pick.
and like of course like all the legends that hop on there, but for effort like that and the ability and because I feel like this in-house producers to me don't get enough love.
I agree.
Besides, uh, I'm not gonna say that, but I'm
Now I was
being
gonna say
nice.
now, I was gonna say even the one that you about to say I don't agree. I still don't think they get enough love.
Yeah, that's fair. Uh, I feel like in-house producers as a unit don't get enough love. But with Soundwave, his impact on his impact on the album and just Kendrick's career in general, I feel like he
Mm,
really took it up another level on this album.
mm.
On top of like, I still wish we got more Kendrick and knowledge on here. I really wish that. I
But
don't.
boy,
I'm
let me tell you something. The one that we got is
that's
special, bro.
it's literally a all time level track. That I used to think like Mama was like a top 20 song by him. I feel like Mama. I think I have Mama in my top five.
Yeah, bro. Like that. Like that's one of the songs that, like when I said earlier, how as I got older, I started to appreciate more of the album. Like I appreciate Mama so much more now than I did when I first heard the album. Like I enjoyed it then, but I enjoy it even more now.
Like thematically, Kendrick on this album is just so. He's just so. He's just so good, and I don't think his attention to detail has been as strong as it was on this album. Not to say it isn't on these other albums, but I feel like thematically, musically, everything like that, it ties together. It's all tight packed. Like for example, on How Much a Dollar Costs, when obviously the song is about his experience in Africa on tour,
Mm,
and things like that. It's not the story. Like one thing I think people forget about storytelling is because it's not just like he did this or he did that or he did this, but like the intention, the detail that Kendrick has on that song is ridiculous. Like he's not talking about his experience with him. He's talking about the way his feelings towards him, even if it's like a split second, on top of how he's looking at the guy, how he's looking at him, his thoughts, uh, using that to kind of funnel to his feelings on like money and things like that. On top of just one of one of my favorite, my I think my favorite archetype of Kendrick is the whenever he gets in his religious bag, because
Mm-hmm.
that nigga becomes masterful at that. I don't think he, for the most part, all of his songs that I really really like are have to incorporate God in some form or fashion. So I feel like he does
Mm-hmm.
such an excellent job on that song with that. But like from Mama talking about how using what he learned from being in Africa and using that back home, uh Mortal Man, uh just the whole concept of, because I feel like this. I mean, obviously people saying this now, people not liking To Pimp a Butterfly. I get it. I don't get it, but if that's not your cup of tea, I get it. But the I just never got. I just don't. I don't get it. I
I'll put
don't.
it. I think. Okay, so this is
I
this
get it,
is
but I don't get it.
So
It's
I
not like
get
he's
it.
doing. It's not
No,
like Kendrick like rapping over rage beats.
no,
Like
this is what I say. I get not liking the production. I get not liking the way he's rapping on it. I get not liking the concept. I get if there's something about the album that you do not like, I get it. I just don't agree. Like our opinions ain't got to be aligned. I just don't feel the same way as you. And I think that's fine too.
I feel like if anything, just the only thing I can kind of see clashing on is the subject matter on some songs. I'm not going to say the songs 'cause I think y'all obviously know what
Yeah,
I'm
I know
getting
what you're talking
at.
about. Yeah. Yeah.
But the musically, it's just like this. The musically, this is a black ass album, bro. I don't care what nobody says. This a,
I guess it's because I guess I just enjoy I enjoy the production. I enjoy the jazz and funk influences on some of these songs right here. I enjoy the subject matter. Like even if it's a song on here, I'm like, I I don't necessarily agree with what he's saying on here. That's fine. I respect the musicality of all of it. And but I don't want to I'm not one of those people that's like, if you don't like this, you tripping. Because
yeah,
we all got different tastes. We all got different tastes. But this just do it for me.
yeah. I agree, man. Like, look, but the I kind of accepted that as much as I do think Kendrick is. I still think he's an amazing musician and everything like that. But I don't think he will ever reach the level of musicality. His level of musicianship is just a tier above any album that he's ever made. But and I don't think he will ever reach that again, which is fine. Like you're still an amazing musician, but that To Pimp a Butterfly, when it will always be a tier above any Kendrick album for me. On top
Hmm.
of just, do you know how crazy it is that literally like 2 or 3 years after this album dropped, people were literally putting it in not just best rap album of the decade talks, but people have debated that this is the best rap album ever,
Mhm.
which is so crazy, and at such a short age. So just what a
Yeah, and
time,
I'm not
bro.
even, and I'm like, I'm not one that, I'm not one that cares a lot about, like being like the critical success or whatever. But to me, it's just like he's one of my favorite songwriters, period.
I feel like
So,
I listen to yeah, like I feel like I listen to when I listen to any Kendrick album, like and this is to I'm not absolving him of his stupid stints because make no mistake, that nigga be having doing some stupid shit sometimes. But one thing I do appreciate about Kendrick is that any album, I'm always gonna pay attention to him first. I'm gonna always pay
mhm.
attention to what says first. I don't feel that way about a lot of people. I always with Kendrick, like pen wise, I just always understand that that will probably be the strongest thing that he will always bring to the table. Like even with Mr. Morale with
Mhm.
United in Grief. I went back and listened to the song and that shit incredible too. But
Yeah, it's funny.
just
It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that because I did not enjoy that album as much, but I can still appreciate what's being done on there. Like
yeah.
whether like it's not like as a whole, it's not my taste, but I respect what's being done. And I can appreciate all of that. It's
Yes.
just not. It's just not. It's just, I don't. It's not one that I'll go back and listen to a lot, but I can still appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I feel like I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly is the one that just as a black person, because I appreciate what he was genuinely trying to do on that album. He was like, look, guys, uh like for the black artists and things of the black artists, things of that nature. The To Pimp a Butterfly title being such a strong title and cover for the album. That's one thing I want to say. The rollout in the visuals and cover and the arts, and the cover art and all that type of stuff around that album is like really, really good. Like
Mhm.
I love that rollout. I think that might be my favorite Kendrick rollout ever.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I feel like you said, there was a lot of and I think he puts a lot of thought into you know the way the music is dropped and all of that. Period. But I do feel like I just I just appreciate that entire like that era. I just appreciate that the most of any of the ones that he's done.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like To Pimp a Butterfly era is just too unforgettable, man. But that's that's all I got for this episode. Appreciate you guys. Know you guys. Plan to upload a bit more regularly, so just be tuned in for that. But y'all stay easy. We out.